program tonight. I'm with the Brahma Kumaris since the last 32 years, and last 20 years I stay most of the time in India. Today I talk on world in transition. So the first part of the presentation deals with climate change, what's actually happening in the world, what is the situation. We all get a lot of information about climate change. We hear here and there some bits and pieces, but is it serious? Will it affect Australia? Will it affect the world? We all don't really know. In the second part, I share a bit what Brahma Kumaris is doing in the field of climate change. We are participating since Copenhagen in all the climate conferences. In the second part, I talk about solar energy in India. We're the largest institutional user of renewable energies in India. And in the third part, I share with you my ideas about consciousness, awareness, and transition towards a new world. How through a shift in our consciousness, how through meditation, we can help Mother Earth and we can heal the planet. Some of the informations in the beginning, they are a bit tough because climate change is a reality and is affecting us all. So stay please with me. And then at the end, there will be also a solution. All right. Let's start straight away. And this is a very interesting picture because it is a picture of smog in New Delhi last year in December. And that particular day, New Delhi broke the world record in air pollution, 550 parts per million. And Beijing, for example, has 250. So this was a very serious situation, and you are blessed to live in Australia, because when I arrived in Perth for the first time 2 weeks ago, the first thing 6 o'clock in the morning I recognized was the fresh air. It was so beautiful to be out of that foggy situation of New Delhi. If you live in a city like this, your life expectancy is reduced 4%. It means out of 24 hours you lose 2 hours. And 50% of the people in Delhi, they have chronic bronchitis. There's a situation, you live in a city like this. Out of 20 most polluted cities, 12 are in India. So this is a situation what happens if industrialization is not guided by values and ethics. So, and the main reason for this is we're producing electricity in a very old and not really smart manner. You see, these are our coal-based power plants, and 24 hours, 365 days a year, we're polluting the air. 80% of the world energy production is still based on these coal-based power plants. And they are responsible for the greenhouse gas emissions, and this ultimately causes the climate to change and causes what we call the global warming. Here you see a very interesting trend. This is since the 1950s, a trend of the world temperature. This is the zero line, and you can see from 1960 onwards, the temperature has steadily gone up, totally 1.2 degrees. And the bad news is there is no slowing down of that warming up of the planet. You can see here, no slowdown in global warming. The trend is unbroken. And the forecast for 2016 is that 2016 will be the hottest year on record. Now many people say, yeah, 1.2 degrees is not very much, but climate is changing in front of our eyes. And I hear that in Australia you also have hotter summers, you get more bushfires in the summer because sometimes there's drought and all this. In Thailand at the moment we have a very big drought, and weather is changing all over the world in the last couple of years. And just a couple of slides which show a bit of the effects. This is a slide about the coral reefs worldwide. If the temperature goes up 1 degree, about 10% of the reefs in the world will be affected. Temperature goes up 1.5 degrees, 50% of the reefs will be affected. It means they're dying. Temperature goes up 2 degrees, 80% of the coral reefs will die. At the moment, there is a commission traveling over the Great Barrier Reef, and last week the Australian government announced the threat level 3 for the Great Barrier Reef. I hope you heard about it, it was in the news. So your Great Barrier Reef is dying at the moment, and it's something happened what's called coral bleach. You have heard about coral bleach? It means the algae, the coral algae is ejecting, the coral is ejecting the algae, and once this bleaching happened, only 50% of those corals, they will recover. So at the moment 50% of the whole coral reef in Australia is under coral bleach. It is a stress reaction to the increased water temperature of the ocean. And we cannot actually afford to lose the coral reef. Here are many sisters. Hello, here are many chairs. Here are 3 chairs, you know. So you're most welcome to sit in the front also. So what happened is we can actually not afford to lose the coral reef, because it's the kindergarten of all the marine life. So it's very important that we maintain that and keep that. But out of 500 reefs in the southern hemisphere, only 10 do not show signs of coral bleaching at the moment. So this is happening right in front of our eyes, and this is quite serious. On the other side, we have another irreversible damage to the ice shield. This is Iceland. It's the biggest island in the world, and there's an ice shield up to 3 kilometers in thickness. And there are projections 2 degrees centigrade, 4 degrees, 6 degrees, 8 degrees. Ice is melting. If this ice is melting on Iceland, water level will rise up to 12 meters. This would be very bad for a city like Melbourne, very bad for Sydney, very bad for Brisbane. Cities would have to be evacuated, you know. We can tolerate 1 or 2 meters, that's the maximum what we can tolerate. Cities like Amsterdam, London, New York, they all would have to be evacuated. So that's a very serious situation, because 50% of the world population lives within 50 kilometers of the coast. So science is not very sure how fast the ice is melting. What they found out is that in the Arctic the temperature rise is 3 times faster than in the rest of the world. And this year, for the first time on the North Pole, we had plus degrees. Normally it should have been minus 16. It was 1 degree plus for the first time in history ever on record. So this is very dramatic news, because once this ice melts, it's very difficult to reverse the process, you know, and it has already started to melt. Science cannot tell us how long it will take, because these systems are all dynamic. They are not linear, and there are loops and self-supporting systems inside, so they are not 100% sure how fast it will take, but it's happening already, and it's accelerating. So, and one of the things which is happening, the deserts are growing, and already in the last years a report came out that many deserts are growing, farmland is being lost, and you might know that in Syria, where we have a bad civil war at the moment, there was 6 years drought from 2006 to 2012, and 40% of the farmers lost their farmland. And now we have a civil war there, and we have refugees. And there are other UN reports which very clearly indicate that we have already a lot of refugees around the globe because of shift of climate. People lose their livelihood. So we have droughts everywhere, and the other bad effect is that the sea level is rising, and this may happen suddenly and much faster than we were anticipating this. These are only 2 small effects of climate change. Droughts, hurricanes will increase, and so on. There's a lot of changes also for the birds, for the animals, for the crop, for the farmers, and we're right middle into it. And global warming, as the name says, is a global phenomenon. It will not stop at the Australian continent or anywhere. All countries in the world, more or less, will be affected by this. So it's a quite serious problem, and actually the existence of humanity is at stake. These are the scientific facts, and the reason behind is that we all are following a wrong paradigm. We all believe that economy has to grow all the time. So this is the economic growth since the 1970s. World economy is growing average 2%, 2 to 3%. So there is a growth, and at the moment we're using the resources of 1.6 planets. It means we're using 1.6 times the water, 1.6 times the topsoil, 1.6 times the air, and so on. It means we're using more than actually the planet can give us. We're over-consuming. One of the main reasons for this is that we're overpopulated, and population has grown now to 7.5 billion people. This is one of the major reasons that we are over-consuming. But we in the West, we have also a very lazy lifestyle, I would call it. We all consume too much and we don't care. And that's very bad. So actually we should shrink, our consumption should shrink, and we should come back to resources of one planet. Of course, here Hollywood tells us, with all the Hollywood science movies, we just build a spaceship and we go to some outer galaxies. We kill a couple of aliens and grab their universes, and then we have plenty of stuff. But this is unfortunately a myth, because gravity is very powerful and you cannot overcome gravity that easy. So energetically it's not going to work. It's Hollywood movies. We have to live on this one planet and we have to deal with it. We have to make the best out of it. So, and the reason behind this, we all are big consumers. See, this lady, she's hypnotized by 10,000 advertisements, and this advertisement tells the lady, buy more, have more fashion, have more of these goods, and you will be happy. It could be also, of course, a man. Actually, it should be a man, but I found this particular cartoon and I liked it so much. And you see, she's buying goods and keeps them. And if you go home and you look in your wardrobe, you open your wardrobe and you look inside, you say, my God, I have too much stuff. I should put half of that, because I've not weared it in the last 1 year. I should take half of this for the Red Cross as a donation. And then I can go in the shopping mall and buy some latest modern stuff, you know? And unfortunately, that's happening, and that's bad. We cannot afford any longer such a lifestyle. You know, an Indian person, he has an energy footprint 1/10 of us in the West. You know, so, and the bad news is, the lady, she buys everything on credit card, and she comes from the USA. USA is the country in the world with the highest footprint per person in the world, ecological footprint. And Mahatma Gandhi said, there's sufficient in the world for man's need, but not for man's greed. And at the moment we're all a bit greedy, because it's all about material possession. And this we are doing because we're feeling inside sometimes maybe a bit empty. So we're trying to compensate and we buy things, and this is supported by the industry. They're very smart. They know all the tricks of advertisement, they know psychology, and they know how to catch you and how to get the money out of your pocket. So we have to be aware about this, and we really have to change our lifestyle. This is very, very important. And at the same time, the oil and gas age is coming to an end. You see, this is the world energy production of oil and gas, and it has peaked between 2010 and 2015. This world production is peaking, and since then it is only going downwards. So it's high time we're shifting and changing our behavior. We're like people who are driving on the highway. We're accelerating. Our petrol gauge is empty, but there's no more gas station coming, but we don't mind. We're listening to pop music, making jokes and driving the highway, and there's no more petrol station. That's our situation. It's high time for us to change to new ways of managing our transport, our electricity, and so on. And there are very powerful alternatives. For example, this is a graph which shows the solar energy coming to Earth. You see, this is little cube is the world energy demand per year. And this big cube is the energy coming from the sun to the globe. It is estimated that the sun provides us with 1,000 times more energy than actually we need for our own consumption. It means there's 1,000 times more sun energy. Unfortunately, not today in Melbourne, but I came from Sydney, there was plenty of sun. And Australia is a country which is blessed. You know, it would be so easy here for you to transfer to clean technology, because you have wind, you have sunshine, you have money, you have space, you have technology, and you have the brains to do it, you know. So Australia would be blessed. Germany, which doesn't have the space, you know, and doesn't have that much of sun, we use 22% already from renewable energies. Here in Australia, you may use 1 or 2% from renewable energies, you know. And last year in 1st May, there was a lot of wind in Germany, and there was a lot of sunshine. It was a Sunday. And at 2 o'clock, Germany was producing 100% of its complete energy demand by renewable energy. 22 terawatt came from wind, 8 terawatt came from solar photovoltaic, 30 terawatt was the total demand of the country. We supplied 100% renewable energy, and Germany is highly industrialized. It's not a peanuts to produce for a country of 80 million people the energy by renewable energies, but it worked out. So there is enough sun, and we're not very smart. We're actually stupid. because we're burning fossil fuels. You see coal, oil and gas. And these fossil fuels actually we should not use any longer. Science is telling us that in the next 25 years we should phase out the usage of coal. If we take this coal out of the ground and we burn it, we destroy planet Earth. We burn literally our planet in front of our eyes. This is what science is telling us, by the way, since the last 30 years. They're telling this, you know. Now slowly, slowly it sinks in our consciousness, and slowly, slowly we start acting pretty late. So we have to phase out oil, gas and uranium. Nuclear power after Chernobyl and Fukushima, we all know it's very, very dangerous. And there is not enough uranium in the world anyhow. It's just a very tiny amount of uranium available. So nuclear power is no alternative. We should definitely go to solar. Technology is there, it's proven, it's available, and it's cost effective, and it's clean. So possibilities, alternatives are there. And because of all these problems, the Brahma Kumaris has set up an environmental initiative. It's called Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. We have a webpage, www.echobrahmakumaris.org, and we have also some brochures here and at the exit there, and you can take one of the brochures. And we advocate that we first change ourselves and our lifestyle, and we walk the talk, and we become an embodiment, an example of the change we want to see in others. So we advocate certain virtues and values: live simple, be unlimited, open the heart, respect life, be positive, walk the talk, empower yourself, eat well, follow your dream and feed the soul. Eating well means vegetarian and organic and locally produced. So who is a vegetarian here? Okay, all right, some hands are not going up. Somebody is vegan here, a vegan? Okay, one hand, you're the gold medalist, because vegans are it's the most environmental friendly diet. It is said that approximately 25% of the greenhouse gas emissions are due to meat production. So 25% of the greenhouse gas emissions are due to meat production. So if you want to save planet Earth, we all should become vegetarian. It would already, climate change would be resolved. So easy it would be. And vegetarian diet, by the way, is also more healthy. And we're doing something good for our cows. They also want to live, no? All right. So, and we advocate a change. It all starts with me. If I change, I can influence my friends, my family, community, country, life on Earth, and future generations. When I become the example, people will see, and then they will follow. And we advocate the green lifestyle. Rethink before you buy something. Reuse the goods. Reduce your consumption and recycle. I'm the smallest out of 3 brothers, and that's a very bad constellation, I can tell you. Because as a small kid, my mother, she was calling me, said, "Golo, you wear the trousers of your elder brothers." Of course, I was screaming and trying to evade and this and that, but no way I could do that. And if the trousers was bad, my mother made a patch, and that was it. And it got even worse. I had to even wear the shoes of my brothers, which was really bad. I didn't like that at all. But if the shoes were bad, we brought them to the shoemaker and put new soles on. No? Now what's happening, we go in the shopping mall and we buy some smart looking Nikes for 150 Aussie dollars, you know, and after 1 year they're broken and we throw them away. And they have been produced by a child in Vietnam for $5, you know. And we're doing that, and that's very bad and very wrong. That's where actually our lifestyle sort of generates indirectly all these problems which come after. So reduce the consumption, recycle the goods, reuse and rethink. Rethink, especially if we buy new things. We don't have to follow all the fashion trends. As a community or as friends, we can share goods, we can share cloth, we can share transport facilities, cars, things, you know, furniture. Sometimes we throw things away, but quite often we can share it with people which don't have so much. And there's a lot of potential what we can do. And it is said if we do an energy audit, look into our electric consumption, look into our water consumption, we can save easily 20 to 30% without sort of really compromising too much in our lifestyle. So there are alternatives. We just have to wake up and change a bit our lifestyle. So now I want to show you some ideas from the Paris Climate Conference. You all heard that in Paris was the major climate conference to change planet Earth. You heard about it. So this was a very, very big conference. 155 head of states came together. And the interesting part was we were participating in the conference officially. We are registered with the UN United Nations for Climate Change, with UN Triple FCC, and we are an NGO and participating officially. And for the first time, the United Nations actively is involving the religions and religious groups in the process, because the reason is they understand, the UN understands that the people have to change their lifestyle and attitudes. But politicians nowadays have no moral authority. You won't believe in a politician if he says you have to change your lifestyle. But if a religious leader says this, you might believe in. And you might have heard that Pope Franciscus has issued in this last summer a very powerful encyclical on green encyclical on saving planet Earth, in which he very, very clearly speaks about changing the lifestyle, changing the industry, and changing the way how we deal with the natural resources. So this is a picture of the opening of the religious dialogue one day before the conference. This is our Sister Genti. She is the head of the Green Team, and this is Saint Denis, which is the biggest cathedral in Paris. And Sister Genti conducts the meditation, and there were bishops and Jewish leaders and Muslims and so on. And next to it are the graves of 50 French kings from the 12th century onwards. And I thought how appropriate the Yogi king meets the old French kings next in the same church. So this was a very moving picture. And this is another program at the conference. We had also an official press conference there, how shift of consciousness can help in climate change. We were with the director from UNESCO, a joint secretary from the government, and a Zen a nun, a Buddhist nun, and a Zen master. It was a very good workshop, and we had good attendance. And slowly, slowly, people are coming to us now and asking us, please, yogis, tell us how you deal with the situation. 10 years ago, when we were in Copenhagen, they came to us and they said, what are you white-dressed yogis, what you're doing here at this conference? We only need money, strategy, and technology. And we fixed the problem. Now the same people come to us and say, oh, our approach is not working. Please help us and please guide us. So slowly, slowly, people are coming to the spiritual people and asking for advice, how to deal with the situation. And of course, we tell them that our lifestyle is part of the problem, that without we change, how we can expect the world changes. So it's quite interesting. And this is was a program in the French pavilion. Here is Ban Ki-moon. He's the Director General of the UN. And he said, if we don't act immediately, there's no future for the children. And this is the Environmental Minister of France, and here is a director of the Norwegian Arctic Research Institute. And he told us that in the Arctic, the temperature rise is 3 times faster. The ice is melting very fast, and they are scared. And he says, if this ice melts, water level will rise 12%, 12 meters, which is very, very big problem for all of us. So they all understood how urgent is the problem, and all politicians agreed, this time in Paris we have to sign an agreement. And you see outside there were a lot of demonstration going on. You know, 10 days before the climate conference was the terror attack in Paris. 133 people got shot, and the whole shooting was 1 kilometer from our meditation center in Paris, and one of the neighbors got shot, you know. So our people in Paris, they really were aware what happened, and there was a state of emergency in Paris. It means no demonstration, no public meeting, nothing. It was all cancelled. And there were 100,000 people from the NGO in Paris, and they wanted to demonstrate for the climate, you know, that the politicians become active. They had to prepare big demonstrations and everything, and suddenly the government comes and says everything is closed. So of course not everybody followed that, and you can see here a statue, is a Statue of Liberty, freedom to pollute. That everybody has the freedom to pollute, but where is the freedom to live, you know? The world is suffering under our pollution, but nobody is looking into how to clean up. And these are the poor people. They are suffering from the pollution. So, and this was the main hall where were all the proceedings, and many politicians were there, foreign ministers, and also many celebrities like Schwarzenegger was there, Leonardo DiCaprio, many actors, many famous scientists, and you just run into them. You know, we run into Al Gore, or I run into the German environmental minister, and you very easy can talk to these people and approach them. And outside was demonstrations going on, fossil-free culture, and this is the Louvre, underneath is the Mona Lisa. And conference was taking, duration was 2 weeks, and there were 25,000 delegates registered, 5,000 press people, and there were 50 television studios which were running all the time, so was a lot of media attention. And here Sister Genti gives an interview. This was our stand. And outside, the indigenous people, they were demonstrating. It was 0 degree, so very bold, and they said, please give us money and please help us, because you are responsible for the pollution, and we poor countries were suffering. We don't know how to deal with the situation. And Obama gave a very interesting speech, because Obama officially said in his speech, the West is responsible for the climate change because 90% of all the greenhouse gas emissions, they are from us. They're from Europe, North America, Australia, Japan. We are for 90% of the greenhouse gas emissions, but we don't want to pay for it, and we don't want to share the technology with the poor countries. So these people demonstrate, and they say, share with us. Here's another demonstration. You see Obama, Merkel, Modi from India, climate crisis, and they're all sleeping happily, you know. So a lot of things were going on. This was our green team, and we were about 40 people in Paris, all living together. Our kitchen was vegan, and Sister Genti is here in the middle. She's the head, and we all worked together. 10 people went to the conference, 3 in the transport, 5 in the office, 5 in the kitchen. So we were quite busy for 2 weeks, and it was a lot of fun for us. And here you see some angels. These were not angels from the Brahma Kumaris organization, unfortunately, but maybe our sisters, they feel inspired for future activities. They were, these ladies, they came from New Zealand, you know, and they put these wings on here, and they said, coal kills, free our power, and climate justice, no excuses. And these ladies, they made it on every front page of every international newspaper. And they were everywhere where was the action, the angels, they showed up. So people like angels, and that's maybe an inspiration that we all should become climate angels and help planet Earth. So, and we got also extraterrestrial help in the climate conference. This is a Jedi, and they were also everywhere. So a lot of fun, a lot of demonstration, a lot of creative people around. And also the Eiffel Tower was used in the advertisement for climate change. This means decarbonize, it means go out of the carbon energy. And it was very beautiful because it was December, and it was clear winter nights, and you can see Paris translated means the city of lights. So it was very beautiful, and we did a lot of yoga and meditation for a climate deal. And 2 days after the conference ended, finally they announced, yes, there will be a Paris Agreement. And you can see here how they announced on the stage the agreement. And the news is that all the countries, they signed the agreement, and they agree that climate change is human-made. They also agree the temperature should not rise above 2 degrees. So all activity should be undertaken to reduce the temperature rise below 2 degrees. And all the countries, they made promises and pledges how much they want to reduce their own CO2 emission. Unfortunately, Australia was not one of the pushy countries. It was more on the brake, you know, because Australia's economy depends to a great extent on coal mining and coal exports, you know. So Australia is one of the countries which is not such a proactive participant in the climate. In the past, they were rather opposite, you know, which is not such a good track record anyhow. The agreement was adopted by all the countries, 190 countries in the world. If one country doesn't agree, agreement cannot be adopted. So you can imagine how difficult it was. So, but what does the agreement actually say? You know, when they sign an agreement, usually there's a loophole, there's a trick, there's a catch somewhere, you know. So you will ask yourself, what is the catch? And of course, there is a couple of very major catches. So we in the center, we were very happy and we had a party, you know, because the celebration was there and we were 2 weeks on there, and we immediately rolled out the champagne and played disco music from the 80s. I'm sure you know what it means, you know, all this very loud disco music. We were dancing and then we had this champagne. Unfortunately, I drank a whole bottle, but it's a children's champagne and it has 0.00% alcohol and didn't make any excitement. But we had a good time. And the big question is now, what really comes out from the climate negotiation deal? So this was the Conference of Parties in France. The next one is Conference of Party 22 in Marrakesh. This is the next climate conference in December. This every year at the moment is the climate conference. Now, the Paris Agreement says we stay below 2 degrees. All the countries gave promises. But if you add up these individual promises, the temperature will rise 3.7 degrees. These are the promises if you add them all up from the countries, not 2 degrees. So at the moment, all the countries have given a promise, but it's not good enough. So in Marrakesh, another negotiation will be there because everybody knows he has to improve his promises and make it better. The next big catch is, this is not the biggest catch, the biggest catch is these promises are called voluntarily contribution. They are legally not binding. And the reason for that is that Obama could not sign a legally binding climate contract because Donald Trump is completely against it. Because Republicans believe that climate change is a hoax. And the House of Senate is totally opposed, so he will not get any contract ratified. So this is more like a contract of promises, where the countries, they give promise. So the question, so the outlook, if through this contract we will really save planet Earth, is not really clear. You know, and it has to really, we really have to increase all those promises. And we spoke some scientists, top scientists in private. They said we have 2 or 3 years to go in action mode. Otherwise, it's now a very crucial time. It's already very, very late. You know, in the 80s, everybody agreed that climate change is there. And then there was a rollback by the American oil and gas industry. They financed a lot of climate critics. So we almost lost 20 years in the process. Now, again, science came back with all the evidence and says it's really us who do climate change. But in the meantime, we lost 25 to 30 years because of interest and lobbying of many organizations who made big money with the current system. And now we are pretty late. So the big question is we have to act fast. This is what people say, and climate change is very critical. Okay, this much to climate change and what is going on. Now I'm coming to the Brahma Kumaris. We are a spiritual organization and our headquarters is in India, in Mount Abu. We are administrated by women. And we have 7,000 centers in India and 1,500 centers abroad. And we work closely with the United Nations together, and we teach meditation, yoga and values. And we are also a recognized research center with the government, and we do a lot of research in renewable energies in the last 20 years. I don't go in detail what we're all doing, because I don't have too much time. And it started all in 1993. I came first time to India in 1985, and we got some piece of land, and our daddy, our senior daddy, our head of the institution, she said everybody should build a house there from different countries. I took that literate, and I built this solar house. And this is a house how we should build in the future. It is made out of mud bricks, it has double walls, it's a passive architecture, and it has an integrated solar concept. And what happens is this building has a double wall, it is insulated. It has shading elements in the windows, so the winter sun can enter and warm up the building. The summer sun is blocked. And I have windows here in the top, so I get cross ventilation in summer, I get fresh air. And you look at the window and you see the house a couple of years later. It's now the same house, you see the window? Ah, yes, I like it, I live there. So beautiful. No? So, we have a solar hot water in front, we have photovoltaic here and a small wind generator here. So this house is completely autark. 2 years ago I equipped it completely with LED lights. Who is using LED lights at home? Okay, very good. So I use LED lights and my electric consumption dropped like anything. So I have surplus solar power now. and I don't know what to do with it. So I have to think where else I can give the solar energy. So this building is completely autark, and you see through allowing the trees to grow, the birds came back, the insects came back, and the whole life starts again. You know, you see beforehand it looked very bad because the cows eat everything, the people are cutting the trees, they don't allow them to grow because they use it for firewood. And once we had the land, we fenced it a little bit and allowed the trees to grow. And there's a big difference then. And inside the building is very comfortable. You see we have a spaghetti party here. I live together with David, he's from Adelaide and he's Australian. And you see here are the mud bricks and they are sunburned, means no fire. This building is very environmental friendly because if I knock it down, I don't pollute anything, and I didn't need much of an energy to build it. And this is how we should build in future. We should use wood because it's environmental friendly and it regrows. We should use soil and bamboo and all this kind of natural construction material. Concrete, glass, aluminium, it's very bad. A skyscraper has a lifespan of, who knows it? Average lifespan of a skyscraper? 50 years. Then we knock down the skyscrapers in the city because they become old. And that's not very good. And as we have seen, we cannot afford this in the future. So I built also a nice meditation dome. And now I come to our renewable energy installations. We started in 1997 to experiment in Rajasthan with renewable energies. You know, we have a lot of sunshine there, and quite often there's no diesel, there's no firewood. So I thought, why not to build some solar systems? So this was the first solar cooking system which we built. It has 24 parabolic dishes and heat exchanger, and we cook 2,000 meals per day by sun. It was a research and development sponsored by the German government, and we're using a parabolic dish which follows the sun in the daytime. And the light is concentrated on the focus. Inside the focus there is water, and the water starts boiling and we have steam. Very easy and runs without a problem. This is a bigger system which we built in 1999 in Abu Road, and you can see here are the dishes. And we increased the dish size to 9 square meter, and here's a 16 square meter prototype. And in this system we are producing 3,000 kilo steam, and we cook 30,000 meals every day by sun. And you see here's the solar cooker and rooftop, here's the big meeting hall, and here's the kitchen. And we also have photovoltaic systems where we produce electricity directly. We have now here 200 kilowatt and produce 1,200 kilowatt hours, 1,200 units per day by sun. And this technology is clean, it saves the climate. And you see here a close picture, you see the sunlight is reflected to the receiver, the water starts boiling and shoots up into this pipe, and there we collect the steam and send it to the kitchen. And all welding, fabrication, design was done by our own team. And we're cooking for all these people. You know, this is our main meeting hall, and we just recently had a meeting in Abu, and we can accommodate here 22,000 people in the hall, and we cook partially for them with sun energy since the last 15 years, and it's working without a problem. So you can imagine what is possible. And we also have a lot of photovoltaic installations with solar plates. And these solar plates produce electricity. We send the electricities to our inverters and batteries. And meanwhile, we have 400 systems in India with a total capacity of 1.5 megawatt. And we're the biggest user, institutional user of solar energy in India. And we're trying to inspire our centers to use such systems, and they then show it to their students, and that's how we try to replicate and spread the message of alternative technology. This is our Om Shanti Retreat Center, which is 50 kilometers outside of New Delhi, and we invite people there to come out of the smog and the fog in Delhi. And you see here we have a 400 kilowatt photovoltaic power plant on the rooftop, which produces 4 by 6, 2,500 units every day. This is power for a small, for a good settlement, 2,500 units. And here we have a solar cooker, and the whole place is energy autark. And the advantage is that the solar plates on rooftop keep the roof cool. So you need less air conditioning or cooling in summer. And imagine there in summer it gets 48 degrees. It gets very hot in Rajasthan, in near Delhi. And all the design, the welding of the structure, everything was done by our own team. Installation, foundation work, and installation of the solar plate, all we did ourselves, done by our own team, and we have quite good expertise now over the years. Yeah, and we also have the batteries where we store the energy overnight. The crucial point in renewable energies is storage and distribution, because the sun shines in daytime, but you need electricity in nighttime. So you have to store the renewable energies. Sometimes the wind blows, sometimes the wind doesn't blow. So you have a wind generator, how you store the energy. Batteries are good for storage of small amount of electricity. But when it comes to large scale, everybody is doing research at the moment because it's the crucial point. In Germany we have 23% of our total energy production is by renewables, but we cannot increase it because we have no storage. So the storage is a very crucial point, and the distribution is very crucial. So a lot of industries, a lot of research institutes, they all work on storage for large scale, and they all work on distribution, how to smartly distribute and use the solar energy and on the spot where you produce it. No? So we use batteries, we have over 8,000 of them and maintain them, and we get a lifespan of 20 years. And now I like to show you our latest project. It is called India One, and it is a research project which is researching thermal storage. And the project has a budget of 15 million US dollars, and we get 25% from the Indian government, we get 50% from the German government, from the Ministry of Environment, and 25% comes from the Brahma Kumaris. And we work with a very famous research institute, the Fraunhofer Solar Research in Germany, together. This is a research project, and here you get more information on the project. So 8 years ago when we had the idea, our idea was to develop a solar thermal power plant with storage as a research in order to develop such a technology so it can be replicated in India. And for this purpose we had to build a large 60 square meter dish. You know, here are the happy three inventors. This is me some many years ago, and this is a 60 square meter parabolic dish, and we focus the sunlight into the receiver. Now this dish is turning. There are 6 little motors which are moving the dish. There's a small computer. It's pretty complicated. And in the receiver we can get a maximum temperature of 1600 centigrades. Now when you get this temperature you can do anything. You can do steam, you can use it for process application, you can use it for cooking, for food factory, anything you want you can do with it. But 1600 is very hot. So we reduce the temperature to 500 degrees. And we focus the sunlight into the receiver, and the receiver is made out of 3 tons, 3,000 kilograms of cast iron. So we heat up a cast iron to 500 degrees, and around this cast iron block there is a coil. So when we want steam, we pump water through the coil, and on top steam comes out. And the cast iron, the 3 ton, functioned as a storage. Remember, when you have an iron, it's hot, and you switch it off, it stays hot. So it's the same principle. We heat this up, but the iron is 5 kilo, we have 3,000 kilo. Okay? So this is our storage, and in nighttime we have a big door, close it, and the whole thing is insulated and stays hot overnight. So whenever we need steam in the night, we pump the water through the receiver and we get it out. So that sounds very simple and easy, but it is rather complicated. Here is our campus, and here's the solar land, and here we are constructing the solar power plant at the moment. The distance is 1.4 kilometers, and we produce electricity here and steam and send it to our campus. And we are building totally 770 dishes, because we calculated we need so many dishes to produce enough steam to drive the turbine, which is here in the turbine house. And this is our little factory where we design everything. And you can see all the design fabrication is done in-house with our own structural engineers, and we tested prototypes, rebuilt them, tested them. It took years to fabricate and design everything and get it all right. It's a lot of work. Here's the fabrication of the stand. And finally it looks like this. So you have here the dishes. The dishes are focusing the sunlight on the receiver, and the water is pumped through, becomes steam, is pumped through, becomes more steam, etc., etc., etc. And from here it is going to the turbine. And this is our team. We are 50 brothers from the Brahma Kumaris who work as volunteers, and they are mostly engineers. And in the middle you see our Dadi Janki, and here our Dadi Gulzar. Dadi Janki is the head of the institution. She just had her 100 years birthday recently. She comes every 3 months on solar site and she says, come on guys, get ready with the plant. I want to be around for inauguration. So this is a big point for us to get ready with the project, and we hopefully will be ready by September, October 2016. And this is how the plant looks like at the moment. You can see here all the dishes, and here is the turbine house. Inside is the turbine. It's a 1 megawatt Siemens turbine, and we send electricity and steam to the campus which is here. Here in the background is Mount Abu. It's 1200 meters above the sea level. Here's the Shantivan campus, and you drive by car 27 kilometers up, and there's the old headquarters, Madhuban. And now I'm going here on the mountain, and I take a photo from the other side, and that's how it looks from the mountain side. So you can see here's all the dishes, the rows of dishes, the fabrication. And now all dishes are fabricated, and we hope by September, October to inaugurate. So now you have seen the world is in trouble. Climate change is going on, and it is fast, and it is serious, and it is coming. If we like it or not like it, it doesn't matter. It is coming. It is a feedback loop of human activity. We could not expect to act all the time in such a way, plunder the planet, and there will be no repercussions. Of course, there's always a feedback from our action. In India we call it karma. As I do, so I receive. And at the moment we're not treating planet Mother Earth very well, and we don't treat the animals very well. So there is a feedback. Planet is heating up. So we are in trouble, and the trouble is serious, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. On the other side, we have seen there is alternative technology available. What we are doing, other organizations are doing, this technology is out since 50 years. Since 50 years, these alternatives are there. But we're not using them because people are not changing. So the big question is now how to have a positive vision for the future and to become a change maker. How to change the self, and how to inspire other people to change. So now I come to the very good news, because the first part was a bit sort of like disastrous and apocalyptic. The next part was a bit technical. Now I come to the spiritual heart, to the spiritual opportunities, how through opening of our heart and consciousness, how through a change from the inside we can inspire people and we can make a big difference. And the thing is, what we have to understand is that a change has to be initiated from the inside. It has to come from consciousness and awareness. You see, the world is in trouble. It's in a bad shape. The world is in a trouble because human actions are bad. Our actions are bad because our visions and ideas are wrong. We are following the wrong paradigm. We are following the wrong philosophy. We need a shift of paradigm and a shift of philosophy. And therefore, consciousness and awareness has to be changed. Now, the good news is that only 10% have to change and 90% follow. This is a graph from human behavior. Science has analyzed groups and countries and companies, and they analyzed how change is happening in such groups. And they found out if 10% of the people change, then it becomes 20, suddenly jumps, and then after some time 100% of the people follow. It means if we here become change makers, we can inspire 90% people outside to follow. They will again inspire 90%, and in a very short time it will multiply, and we set a new trend, and we create a new paradigm, and everybody will follow. So are we ready to become change makers? Is Melbourne ready to change? Baxter ready to change. Good. So we're all ready to become change maker. Now the big question is how to change. Because you know, many times we understand something and we know, oh, this is not good, but we're not changing. We're not able to bring lasting change. Old habits, they always come back. They're very powerful. The reason is science has found out what's going on in our brain. Last 10 years, many research institutes, they did a lot of research how the brain is functioning. And they found out actually we have a consciousness and we have a subconsciousness. The consciousness is quite clear. I'm consciously talking at the moment to you, consciously, and you're listening to me. I'm addressing your intellect, I'm talking to your ratio. Huh? I'm giving you facts, figures and numbers, and you listen to it and you understand. However, there's something called the subconscious. And my subconscious is in the background, it's very deep inside. Your subconscious is in the background, very deep inside. And science found out where actually comes desire, who is actually controlling us and who's controlling our actions. What do I like, if I'm greedy, if I'm happy, if I'm peaceful, if I want to buy things more, if I'm hurting the environment, who's controlling us? And something very interesting came out. 97% of all decisions in our life are taken by our subconsciousness. And this is a real shocker. It's not the consciousness, the ratio, the intellect. It's the subconscious. The second bad news is the consciousness cannot change the subconscious. For example, you are reading 5 books. Cigarette smoking is bad. Who's smoking cigarettes? I don't smoke cigarettes. Anybody smoke cigarettes? Oh, very good, healthy people here in Melbourne. Good. So I can use this example now. Nobody will feel hurt. You read 5 books on cigarette smoking. How bad is cigarette smoking? You know, and you say, oh my God, you know, you die, lung cancer, this, that, my God, this is catastrophe. Then you go outside, you take out, you have a pocket with cigarettes there, and you say, my God, I have a full packet here still. And you take out, you say, I can smoke one, you know, one is none, you know. You take out and you think, you say, the cigarette smoking is very bad and it hurts and it causes lung cancer. And I really should stop with that smoking. I thought since years I should stop smoking. Maybe this is the last packet I have here. Yeah, the last packet. Oh no, I have a whole 10 packets at home. It's very bad if I throw them away. So maybe I finish the 10 packets and then I finish with smoking. Oh God, next week I go with my friends in holidays, and when I'm with my friends I can't quit smoking, you know, because they all smoke. So next month, okay, then maybe in 3 months, but you know, actually it's so tasty and it gives me this feeling of freedom and masculine strength, and I feel like a cowboy when I smoke cigarettes, and maybe I think next year to quit smoking. And that's coming from the subconscious, because consciously with ratio you cannot address the habits of the subconscious. There's a next example what I give you. For example, you see a person for the first time. So what your subconscious does, it looks at the face of the person in 1/10 of a second. And it takes 40 parameters of the face. The ears, the nose, the chin, the shape of the face, a lot of hair or a little less hair, like in my case. And then it takes this 40 parameters and it takes it to the database inside the subconscious. And there it looks all faces you have seen in your life, they're stored. Even if you've forgotten them, they're all there. Your subconscious is very clever. It's like a computer. It registers everything in this life. And it compares that face in front of you with all the faces you have seen. Now, for example, that face is similar to your mother's face and you had a good relation to your mother. So what happens is, from the subconscious, the idea comes up, this is a good person, you can trust this person. You know, this person may want to steal your money purse, it doesn't matter. You trust this person because subconscious says, good, similar to your mom. And after another 1/10 of a second, your body is flooded with oxytocin and dopamine. These are chemicals which make you very relaxed. Your body language relaxes and you say, oh, I always wanted to meet a person like you. Despite this person, I want to harm you. But subconscious has taken over and you do it in automatic modus, and the best of all, you're absolutely not aware of this mechanism, and we're all doing it. It means the subconscious is the collected experience of the past which are stored in our subconsciousness, and we are following this program without that we are even aware. Basically it means we're following an old computer program which we're writing all the time based on the past experience. Now the problem is, in the subconscious also all the traumata, the fears, the negativity, the childhood, when we were in school, when we were hurt, when we were falling down, the experience of sickness, etc., etc. In addition, we are spiritual people, we are yogis, we believe the soul is immortal and we have the experience of previous life also. And this program we're following, and this program is corrupted now. And we're acting now no more beneficial to nature, we're exploiting. We're hurting we're hurting the people in the third world. Our lifestyle is no more good. We're over-consuming. It's all subconscious. So now if we want to change, we have to change the subconsciousness. And we have to deal with the experiences of the past and we have to flip them. And we have to change them. The bad news is science found out that all these experiences are hardwired into our gray brain cells. They're sitting there. And you cannot erase it. Memory is there. So, what to do? In addition is another bad news, our subconscious is also overloaded. In modern life, we have to absorb 10,000 times more information than a person in medieval days. You know, 10,000 times more information. Who gets too many emails? I get too many emails, yeah. Sometimes I feel overloaded, you know. I feel, my God, why everybody sends an email to me, you know. Why they not understand this email is not important for me. I get too much. If I have a newspaper, I just look the headlines. I hardly have time to really look it up. I have so many papers and books which I want to read. At the moment I don't find the time. Information overload. That's where burnout comes and that's where stress comes from. So we're dealing here with a subconsciousness which we cannot change, and at the same time it's even overloaded because we're getting so much information in this information society. So now I come to magic and how we can make a change. Science has done a lot of research in the last 15 years. What does yoga and meditation do? And they found out something very, very sensational. Number one is when you meditate. So what they did is they took Buddhist monks, Indian yogis and powerful meditators and put them in the CT scan and in the MRI. Whatever I'm telling you now, this is scientifically reviewed. It's available in internet and it's in peer-reviewed articles and papers available. You can download it. So they took all these people, put them in the MRI and they scanned the brain. And they looked what actually happens in the brain when you meditate, you know. And they find out there are some dramatic changes when you perform yoga. Number one is they found also that people change their behavior when you conduct yoga. So the first thing what they find out, if you meditate, you increase social competence. Number two, it deepens relaxation and improves your health. This is understandable and is not sensational. When you come to us and you will learn here Raja Yoga meditation, we will tell you through meditation you will become a better person and you will become more peaceful. And you see, of course, I meditate, I think I'm a peaceful soul, etc. Of course, I become more relaxed and my health most likely will also improve. But now something very, very special happens. Normally, when you are crossing the age of 25, your grey brain cells in your head are dying and the body cannot replace them. We cannot grow grey brain cells. That's why you're at the peak of your capabilities when you're 25. Anybody is younger than 25 here? No, we are sadly all older. So, okay. So that's why when you become older, you know, from the age of 60, 70 onwards, sometimes you forget things or this or that happens, you know, because slowly grey brain cells are diminishing. And science has found that out. The density of grey brain cells is decreasing. If it becomes very bad, you get dementia or Alzheimer. It means grey brain cells are less and less and less, and the body cannot regrow them. That's something they found out in the last 100 years. We cannot do it. But if you meditate, something sensational happens. You increase the number of brain cells in your head. It's called the neuroflexibility of your brain is increasing. Normally by age the neuroflexibility is decreasing, but you meditate, you grow new grey brain cells, and this is a sensation. This is in opposite to the standard scientific ideas which have been postulated in the last 50 years. And now the good news is, by growing new grey brain cells, you can start a fresh program. And you can override the old program of fear, the old program of greed, the old program of anger, the old program of impurity with a new, fresh and good program. And you can start changing your habits on a very deep level. from the inside to the outside. And science found it out, they confirmed it, it's all in review papers there. And they say that it is a sensation. If you meditate, you change the structure in your brain. And you're able to create a new, fresh program with positive attitudes and behavior pattern. And this is the real sensation. So all you who meditate, you're part of an elite. You're performing meditation and you change yourself from the inside to the outside. Science also found out that you're creating new neuronal connections in your brains. And you start thinking in a new way and you increase the whole efficiency of your system in your brain. That is why meditation is such a wonderful and powerful tool to bring transformation from the inside to the outside. And the good news is it is lasting. And you replace the old database, the corrupted database, the database which is infested by viruses and so on, with a new database with fresh information and with fresh information habits. It means no more fear, no more anger, no more greed, no more negativity. And then you start changing from the inside to the outside. Now, you may think, okay, that's very, very good. I change my behavior. But will this be enough to save the planet? What do you think? Will this be enough if I change my behavior? See, if I change, it's good, but you know, how to... Yes, but even we're pretty late now. You know, would you like to get some magic? Would you like to hear about some magic of meditation? You know, you all like Harry Potter and the magic wand and these things. Okay, I share some magic with you. Now it gets really exciting what meditation is doing. Okay, you meditate, you change your habits, you increase your brain capability. It's magic already. Okay, now we come to real magic. The magic of the power of your thoughts and your consciousness. And therefore I share an experiment with you. This is quantum physics. This is called the double slit experiment. You can Google it up. It's in the internet. There are even little films there. So what does it say? This is an experiment from science. It says, science wanted to find out how is light behaving. Is light a particle or is light a wave? So they made this experiment to find that out. And the experiment is very easy. You have here a light source, can be a bulb, and you have a wall with 2 holes, and then you have a screen. And on the screen you have the reflection. So if light is a particle, you have 2 reflections, one here, and if light is a wave, you have an interference here, and you get the interference design here on the screen. That is the idea. So science made this experiment and they got the results, and then they made it again, and then the result was changing. Sometimes they got result light consists of particles, and sometimes they got light consists of wave. And they were confused and they repeated it, and again they got variable results. And they said, why we get different results? Because either light is a particle, it behaves like or it is a wave function. It cannot be both at the same time. It's physically not possible. So they repeated the experiment, this and that. You know the outcome? Why they got different results? The reason was the consciousness. If I observe the experiment, light behaves like a particle. And if I look to you, light behaves like a wave. Again, if I change and look, it's a particle. If I look to you and I address you with my conscious, light flips back and it becomes a wave function. And this is again a shocker for science. Science has to take many shockers at the moment, but this is a very big shocker. Because imagine, 150 years ago, everybody was believing the me, the soul, the spirit is connected to the world and we are one. Then came the scientific revolution and science told us, it's all wrong. God is not existing. You are just a chemical combination, and matter is totally separate from you, and there's no connection. The world is totally separate from us, and science has separated us, humans, from nature. Now suddenly they make an experiment in quantum physics and it says, hello, you are totally connected. And your consciousness makes light change its behavior, its function. Either it is a particle if I look, or if I don't look, it becomes a wave function, it collapses. Suddenly science has to say, my God, there is a very profound connection. They made many, many other experiments, literally thousands of experiments, where they prove scientifically the mind, the consciousness and the energy field I'm transmitting is directly connected to the physical reality. Another example I tell you, there's a plant called mimosa. So there was a guy, they put the plant here, and the guy took a lighter and says, I will burn now a leaf from the mimosa. You know, and the mimosa is one of the plants which reacts very fast. It changes the leaves like that, you know, it's very sensitive. And they wired up the mimosa with a lot of measuring equipment to measure the stress of the plant. So when the guy came with the lighter and he burned one leaf, the plant, the mimosa, got very agitated and got very stressed and did all like this. So the guy made it a couple of times, you know, and then he put the mimosa there, and then he just concentrated and he thought, I will take my lighter, but he didn't move. I take my lighter and now I will burn the mimosa. And the moment he thought it, the mimosa got stressed, you know, it got totally stressed. So science said, my God, the plant is reacting on the thoughts of the guy, you know. Then they put the mimosa in another room. The guy again concentrates and says, I will go to mimosa, take my lighter and burn. Mimosa got very stressed. Then they said, okay, let's now really do it. And they took the mimosa in another city, 500 kilometers away. Guess what happened? The mimosa got stressed. And guess what happened again? 0 time delay, instant reaction. Thoughts travel. So, what does it mean? The I, the me, I'm all the time connected. Whatever I think, there is a reaction. Whatever I think, matter is responding. I, the soul, I create an energy field through my thoughts and emotion. And I'm radiating out this energy, and matter is responding. You know, in America, there's a guy, there's a competition who can grow the biggest pumpkin in the world. So every year one guy wins the competition. You know, he comes with a truck because his pumpkin is 350 kilos weight, you know. So he comes with this pumpkin, and they ask, how you make it that your pumpkin becomes the biggest pumpkin always? And he says, well, in the morning when I get up, I go to my pumpkin and I say, good morning, pumpkin, how are you? And I talk to my pumpkin. The whole day I talk to my pumpkin, and I talk it to grow. And in the evening, when the sun sets, I go there and say, good night, pumpkin, sleep well. And he says, and then my pumpkin becomes the biggest. So plants react, nature reacts, environment reacts, physics reacts. It means I am connected to this world outside there all the time. And we should not underestimate it. Some science, they are saying the world exists because I exist, and there is a vice versa exchange of energy. And we are all the time creators and create our small environment, but we are also radiating the energy in the further environment, because if you've seen from the mimosa test, it goes over kilometers without stop. Sometimes you think on somebody and then your mobile phone rings, no? You had this experience? Telepathy. We are all connected. And the power of thoughts is very powerful, and on whom we think and what we think, the other person feels it immediately. So if we love somebody or we hate somebody, it has a very powerful impact. That's why when you become a yogi, become a spiritual person, it is so important that you look into your thought pattern, because we have this effect. Okay, so now we understand this is our magic wand, which you wanted. This is the Harry Potter abracadabra. You create light and might in your brain, and you start radiating it out, and you start changing slowly, slowly the environment around you. And this is abracadabra, because matter is responding. The world is responding, and the plants are responding. So we can say the problems in the world are partly a reflection of the problems in collectively all our minds. We lost our peace, we lost our inner happiness, we lost our inner purity, and the world is a reflection. It's like a mirror of our consciousness. So if we change, if we become change makers, you remember the 10%? We have an immense impact. And then we can send good vibrations to politicians, to our economic leaders, and so on and so on. And it's working. You know, that's the best part of all of it. And nobody's stopping us. So our own thoughts and visions do create the reality. Very, very important to understand. Our thoughts create the visions, and they create the reality. Meditation and our thoughts are the key to transform the world. So if we meditate, we change our subconsciousness, we get rid of our traumas and fear, we create a new program, we override the old stuff, and at the same time we create love, compassion, happiness, and we radiate it out, and plants, people, nature, everything reacts. because we are connected. All the time we are radiating an energy field out, all the time we're receiving information. I think on somebody, that person immediately, without delay, experience the energy. We do it quite often unconsciously. When you become a spiritual person, you become aware on the power of your thoughts. So this is a very, very important point. So now think positive on yourself, think positive on others, think positive upon the world. So how to think positive on the self? So first we have to heal ourselves, then we can heal ourselves, we can heal the world. Now how to do it? Science again has done a little experiment, and they try to find out actually what people are thinking. So they ask people to note down over the whole day about their thoughts and emotions. And again, this is an eye-opener and it's very interesting. 45% of the people, they are thinking about negative stuff in the past. This happened and that person told this to me, and because this happened I do not want this and this and this. 50% of the people, they're worried about future. They say, oh, Golo is talking so long and I have to go back and it will become late, and tomorrow I have to go to work and I have no petrol in my car, and I have to go to the petrol station, but that one is closed, so I have to go there, and then I have no milk in the fridge for the coffee in the morning. Oh my God, that's very bad. You know, I get really upset that I forgot to buy the milk. And that's how our thoughts are going on, going on, going on, going on. We have such thoughts that the milk gets even sour, you know, sometimes. And you know, 5% of the people are in the here and now, and they're happy. You know who they are? You know them. Who is in the here and now and who is happy? The kids, that's right. The children. You know, you see the kids, they're happy. Hmm? Pardon? Yeah. When you forget. Yeah. Yeah. When you forget the old stuff. So the kids, they're happy in the here and now. So we all should become children, innocent as children, you know, and have this innocent happiness and not worry about future and not worry about past. The past is gone, I cannot change it, you know. It's not worth to dwell too much what happens negative. Okay, experience is one issue, to use it for future, okay, but don't go emotional in the past. We yogis have an exercise called making the point. Then the other is not worry about future. Future will come automatically. Just send good vibrations. We yogis also have a method here. Every morning we have a powerful morning meditation, and we project the day and we set good energy into the morning and say everything will become fine in the morning. So that's what we're doing. Yes? Well, the most powerful way is you become very powerful and you meditate and you send every day specific in the morning and the evening good thoughts to this person and try to empower him, but not seeing the negativity, but see his virtues. You know, when you see the negativity, his addiction, you increase it. You know, if you say, oh, you're drunk again today, why you drink so much, then the person will become guilty and you actually strengthen the whole thing. But if you see his virtue, his original purity, the person will feel and remember his own virtue and purity, and he will try by himself to overcome it. So you have to strengthen the positive within a person through very powerful vibration. Sometimes you cannot talk to these people, sometimes they are relatives or so, and they will counter-react if you start talking. So then it's good to be silent and become very powerful with your thoughts. We call it in Hindi Mansa Seva, the service through your mind. Yeah? It's very powerful. So we think positive on ourselves. Every morning we get up, we bless ourselves, think positive on others, and then we can heal planet Earth. So yoga is an old Sanskrit word and means connection with the Supreme for self-enlightenment. So what we do in meditation, we connect to the Supreme Source, to the Supreme Light. You can call him God, Allah, whatever name you can give to him. The yogis call him Supreme Light, the Divine Light. We connect ourselves to the Divine Light, take energy, then have realization. Realization means I am pure Atma, I'm a spirit. The body is my manifestation, it is my car, but I, the driver, I'm pure soul, I'm pure spirit. And when I go in this consciousness, I connect to the Divine Light, I receive power. And then I have transformation. Transformation means I write a new program in my gray brain cells. and I override the old fears. And the old fears and the old traumata is called old karma. These are the negative actions of the past which all the time influence me. Through yoga, you can settle the old karmical accounts. In Christianity, we call it the sin which you inherited. You can deal with sin and you can erase it slowly, step by step. And that's why yoga is such a powerful key, is such a powerful tool, and it helps us to change the self, but also heal the world. Because we have seen, we radiate all the time the energy field, and all the time we are communicating. So, for a new planet, and towards a paradise world, and to heal the planet, change of consciousness, unity and values, inner peace, very important, and sustainable technology. And we have seen that the technology is around us. Money is around us. Plans are around us. Everything is there. We just have to take it. So we have to change ourselves, and then we have to inspire the people, and then we will achieve transformation and we become creators. And we can create a new world, a new paradise, a world of happiness and peace and prosperity. So, I thank you very much. We have these web pages, solarbrahmakumaris.com, www.india1.net, and wechobrahmakumaris.org. These are our web pages. We have brochures there and brochures here. Excuse me that it took a little bit longer, but it's such an interesting, deep topic. And I thank you very much. And maybe you have some questions. We can have 2-3 questions. And afterwards, for 5 minutes, I like to do a meditation with you in which we try to experience this very practically. So you have some questions. Anyone? Yes?
It wasn't so much a question, but one of the talks that I have done up with other things that I have been doing research is about using, becoming more, using less greenhouse gases or producing less greenhouse gases. And as you're saying, going to that vegan and vegetarian type lifestyle, sometimes a good way of starting or moving that way is to go, what I've had is just become a weekday vegetarian, and that way for those people that can't come to terms with that,
Yes.
of saying, I don't want to be a complete vegetarian, I do enjoy that meat and what have you, then, you know, go all during the week, I am vegetarian.
Step by step.
But the weekend, I enjoy that.
You can go,
and then it's like,
yes.
Yep, make a move to there, you don't make a major decision and whatever, and say, I'm going to do this and cut out of it. And it's a really hard decision to make for what you're used to. But if you can take that first step of saying, okay, all week, I'm a vegetarian as best I can, and then
Step by step is possible. Yes, I understand. Thank you very much. There are many steps which we can take. We can look in our transport, how we travel. For example, here is one sister, Ilona. She wants to travel where? She needs a lift. To? Huh? You go to Frankston. Yeah, you need a lift or something, no? Yeah, if someone can give her a lift, you know, to downtown or so, would be very happy. So we can share resources, you know. So we can share, we can think, we can go become vegetarian, we can try it out. My brother is a doctor. So 30 years ago when I became a vegetarian, my brother said, he said, Golo, after 2 years, you come on your knees to me and I have to give you vitamin D and vitamin C injection because meatless diet is not good, you don't get everything. Now my brother has a big belly like this. I'm still quite fit, and 2 years ago my brother became a vegetarian after 28 years. Then I asked him what's going on. He said, you know, Golo, there's so many scandals with the food production, there's so many antibiotics, so many chemicals inside, I can't eat such kind of stuff. He says it's very bad for the health. So my brother is flipped as a doctor because out of health reasons, because he reads all the informations. But there's a lot of research going on, it's also more healthy. And as I said, if you want to save Mother Planet Earth, it's a good thing to do. So feel inspired to do a day, yes? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. See what we're doing. We're using old-fashioned batteries from the 50s design. It's lead acid batteries, and they have a lifespan of 10-12 years. We're getting this, and then we refurbish them. It means we use the lead, we use the plastic container, we just change inside some small parts, but we use everything again. And once after 25 years the batteries are used, we completely recycle the lead. You know, then out of the battery containers we make flower pots, you know, so nothing is thrown away at the end of the day. And these batteries are still the best and most economic way to store energy at the moment, and we try to keep environmental impact as small as possible. Well, the new type of batteries you can throw away and give back to the manufacturer. We buy old design where we can do the refurbishing ourselves. You know, in the old days everybody was repairing the batteries himself. Everybody in the garage in the local villages or towns, even in Australia up to the 80s or so, they were opening batteries, repairing them, putting them together and reusing them. Now the new batteries you buy, they are sealed. You cannot open them. And after 5-6 years, once they're gone, or 4 years, you have to give it back to the garage, and that's it, you know. Well, they will recycle, but they, of course, you don't have the economic benefit. That's why we buy the old one, because the refurbishing costs us 20% of the new price. That's the big issue, and we have 25 years of lifespan, yes. Yes, of course. See, sometimes simple jobs, they help you. Nowadays our society is totally based on consume and throwing things away, and we have to get out of that cycle. As you have seen, the situation, the environmental situation is rather dramatic. There are calculations that we in the West have to reduce our energy consumption by 80% in order to stay below 2 degrees. So 80% means less flying, or maybe no more flying, including myself, less car, local produced food, using more renewable energies, cloth, using them for a long time. So many changes we have to do, you know. And the people in the third world, they have a very low energy consumption. They are not the problem. We people in the West, we have the high energy consumption, and we have to bring it down. And the same, another big issue is the overpopulation of the planet. We're already overpopulated. Luckily, not you in Australia. You're probably one of the most sparsely populated continents in the world. I live in India, you know. You can go in the desert, and you know, behind every sand dune a guy comes up, or a person. You wonder, there's a little bush, and suddenly some guy comes behind the bush, and you wonder where that person came from. Here's nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere, you know. But everywhere somebody is in India, you know. It's just jam-packed, you know. That's why you see all the problems of the world like in a microscope in India, because everything happens there a bit earlier than in the rest of the world. But it will affect us all. Okay, I would say we close here, and we have a joint meditation, and I do a nice picture here, and we have a bit soft music, and what we do is we relax ourselves. And we start to breathing very relaxed, and we start breathing deep down, and we're relaxing our mind, and we stop thinking of the past. We don't worry on the past, and we are not worried about future. Everything is okay. I am in the now, in the present. And I can feel how my shoulders are relaxing, and my arms are relaxing, and my stomach is relaxing, and I have no more worries. I bring stillness in my mind. I'm a pure being. I'm a soul. And my true nature is peace and light. I'm a soul sitting in my forehead, and I'm peace and I am light. I know I now connect myself to the divine light, to the spiritual sun. And I can feel that a lot of light and a lot of peace is coming to me. I am peace and I am light. My mind is now in silence. No worries. I can feel how the peace and the light is going into my body, and everything relaxes. I can feel how I'm charging myself with this light and with this peace. I'm now focusing towards the world, as I know the atmosphere around me has an impact, and I'm sending light and peace to Melbourne, and then I send light and peace to Australia. Now I'm visualizing the whole world. I'm aware of all the problems in the world. Many souls which are in stress. Many plants which are in stress. And many animals which are in stress. I'm sending to all of them peace and light. I am healing myself, and I am healing the world. This is the magic, and I become a magician. I send this light to the whole world, to everybody, to my friends, my family, my city, my country, to all the animal kingdom, to Metta. I heal myself, and I become a creator. I am peace, and I am light. I can feel now how power is coming to me, and this energy becomes more and more powerful. This light is so divine. It will shine everywhere, and it chases away all shadows. I am peace and I am light. This is my true nature. By this meditation and these thoughts, we all together create a new world. A world of peace and a world of light. It is called paradise. I'm healing myself and I'm healing the world. I am peace and I am light. I'm experiencing now my true nature. This true nature I have to invoke every day. And step by step, I make it constant. And I change myself from the inside. By doing so, I change the world. This is the magic which all of us have, because we are all creators. I am peace and I am light. I'm sending this message to the whole world, to all the plants, all the animals, and all other human beings. I am peace and I am light. I'm now focusing and come back into this body. I'm breathing deeply and I'm back in this body. And I'm aware of my own powers and I'm aware of my true nature. By doing every day this exercise, I will change. I will become a master of my life. Om Shanti. So, thank you.